Assalamualaikum, my name is KHADIJAH binti SAMSUDIN. Today, me and my friends from Group 6 from class NBSA 9A will present our research topic about the relationship between stress and problem faced with open and distant learning, which is ODL, among students, especially in UiTM PUNCAK. Okay, first one is background. Firstly, when the issues come with the COVID-19 pandemic, declared by the World Health Organization in 2020, has completely disrupted educational activity, forcing most universities to close completely, affecting hundreds of millions of students and educators worldwide. Okay, the coronavirus pandemic has instructed all institutions to forego physical classes and continue with full open and distant learning, which is ODL, and as a result of the Conditional Movement Control Order (CMCO) and Movement Control Order (MCO), public and private universities were required to discontinue any physical lesson. The quick approach has resulted in educators developing a wide range of strategies to change classes, tutorials, project groups, lab work, and assessment within a short period. Open and distant learning (ODL) method have been an issues and challenges to ICT facilities and resources for the Ministry of Education. Okay, next is problem statement. The ongoing coronavirus pandemic has increased the number of school closures around the world. This pandemic has had an impact on many aspects of life in Malaysia, including education. The coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic has instructed all institutions to forego physical classes and continue with full open and distant learning (ODL) as a result of the Conditional Movement Control Order (CMCO) and Movement Control Order (MCO). Okay, ODL method have been an issue and challenge for the Ministry of Education ICT facilities because there is still a significant disparity in internet access and network resources between rural and urban schools, and their preparation for a full switch to a digital classroom. Studies have shown the difficulties encountered by the student in terms of internet connectivity, internet speed, and network signal. ODL commonly presents students with difficulties, including one which being internet connection accessibility. Okay, next we move to RO and RQ for this research. Okay, research objectives for this research is RO number one is to identify the quality of online distant learning that influence student behavior. RO number two is to study the relationship between ODL problem issues and the level of student mental health during ODL. Okay, next we go to the research question. RQ number one is what is the factor quality of online distant learning that influence student behavior? RQ number two is there any relationship between ODL problem issues and the level of student mental health during ODL? Okay, next we go to scope of study. The study respondents are all students at University Technology Mara UiTM PUNCAK. They are students from the Faculty of Accountancy, the Faculty of Business and Management, the Faculty of Art and Design, the Faculty of Health Science, the Faculty of Architecture Planning and Quantity Survey, and the Faculty of Hotel and Tourism. The survey has performed using a questionnaire created with a Google form and given to the respondent through email and a link through WhatsApp program over the course for 1 or 2 weeks. Okay, next we go to the literature review. The term open and distant learning (ODL) or e-learning refer to a sort of learning approach that incorporates the use of the internet and technical gadget to allow students to virtually attend a lecture session. Okay, this is our conceptual framework. The conceptual framework is a conceptual model based on the review of the literature. The model can graphically depict the relationship between independent variable and independent variable and dependent variable. Okay, this is our research conceptual framework for this study. Okay, as you can see, this study will examine the link between student readiness and student problem and stress among students with ODL learning programs. Student and problems and pressure have a significant relationship with an individual according to the student problem and stress theory. To meet this study objective, our group built a model to depict the relationship between student behavior and student problem. Okay, as you can see at this image, independent variable IV go to attitude. In ODL situations, students may face problems that relate to their attitude. Lack of interaction during ODL may make them demotivated, stressed, and compressed feeling. This problem can be tackled by receiving a strong support system, which is family members and friends. Okay, number two is facilities. Facilities play such a vital role. Example of this are an internet connection, devices, and connectivity coverage. To secure a successful ODL, all these facilities must be at the top point. Better facilities promise the success of ODL, and the input that students receive is greater. Okay, the last IV is perceived behavior control. Perceived behavior control can be defined as the performance of someone who benefit from the resources and ability that they have to control various behavior. Changes that happen because of the pandemic drive students to move to the ODL. These changes may not be received well by certain people. Some of them are struggling to adapt and are scared of what is going on to be happen next. Okay, the next one is dependent variable. DV goes to student pressure during online learning. This is our conceptual framework. Okay, next I pass you to my friend for the next chapter. Thank you.
Thank you, my fellow friends, for the great explanation. For this part, you with me, AMRINA AMRIN, will explain to you about Chapter 3, Methodology. This chapter describes the procedure and methodologies utilized to meet the researcher's purpose and objectives, which is also included the research design, population, sampling, technique, sample size, unit of analysis, data collection, procedure, instrument, and indicator validity. Research design are used to guide the selection of methods and procedures for data collection and evaluation. The research describe the association between variable using quantitative research. A correlational study describes the linear association between two or more variables without implying that one variable has an effect on another. Using correlational statistical approach, data from many variables were collected. Relational analysis was utilized in this study to investigate the relationship between stress and problems with open and distance learning (ODL) among the students. According to statistics from the UiTM Puncak campus about the data collected of user by typical state of residence, Selangor is where the majority of internet users actually reside. Students in UiTM Puncak who are between the age of 18 to 24 try to compensate the population of the study. The most prevalent age bracket, which is represent nearly a quarter of the user base, 24.2%, is between 20 and 24 years old, according to MCMC 2014. Okay, due to the uncertain number of the UiTM Puncak student population, this research uses a non-probability sampling approach, also known as convenience sampling, which is referred to as a method that researchers employ to gather information for market analysis. With this approach, researchers can quickly and easily reach the target sample size, while also limiting the relative time and cost required to conduct a convenience sample. Then we move to sample size. Using a large enough sample depends on the size of population. About 80% of the research in 74 articles on structural equation modeling that were published in significant management information system journals, according to a meta-analysis by Westland 2010, had limited sample size. According to Templeton and Fidel 2001, a method for calculating sample size has already been developed that yields n 50 plus a, when in n is the sample size and m is the number of independent variables. The sample size for the predicated variable as a whole is 82 because there are 4 independent variables in this study. Okay, we go to unit of analysis. The entitled we want to characterize at the end of our investigation, perhaps the main focus of our study, is the unit of analysis. Students from UiTM, which is Faculty of Accountancy, the Faculty of Business and Management, the Faculty of Art and Design, the Faculty of Health and Science, Architecture, Planning and Quantity Survey, and also Faculty of Hotel and Tourism, especially students from the Faculty of Business and Management, especially in Office System Management, serve as the unit of study analysis. Data collection procedure, which is a questionnaire, will be used to collect data for the study objective by using Google link form survey sent to each person, and then the Google form makes clear the goal of the study, its purpose, and the promise that any information submitted by the respondent will be remain private, and then the questionnaire is typically filled out by respondent in between 15 and 20 minutes during the course. The instrument was made by using a Google form where respondent need to answer the questionnaire that has been given to them, and then this questionnaire is divided into 3 parts, where each question is formulated according to the research question and research objective set in this study. The first part A of the figure below places a focus on demographic information such as faculty, course, age, and gender. Finding the elements of online distance learning (ODL) that influence how students behave is the center of part B. While the efficiency of online distance learning as it relates to behavior difficulties and the state of student mental health while enrolled in online distance learning (ODL) are the main topics of part C. While for part B and part C, the evaluation is measured through 5 Likert scale: strongly disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree, which is the number is from 1 to 5. As a result of the ability to compare the findings of a study carried out during the data collection process, the validity of instrument research employing standardized and verified research instrument is strongly highlighted. On the other hand, standardized and validated instrument raise the level of safety because they properly reflect the variables they are meant to evaluate. In addition, some previously validated instruments may not be valid today due to the continuous changes occurring in society. To reduce the risk of introducing uncertainty into the study, the process of adapting research instrument to different culture is especially important when an instrument is used in a different address demographic, IV or DV, survey by gender, language, context, and time also period. Comparing results between different culture and even different groups is difficult in a study where a phenomena is measured indirectly through questionnaire. The comparison will be especially difficult if the adaptation process is flawed. So we are the final part, data analysis. In data analysis, data has been collected and analyzed. The basic identification will be gender, age, level of education, qualification, and then the question will be followed to answer the objective. There are modes, mean, frequency, and median in the data collected. The first phase is data cleaning, where the data set approach describes the outlier as the data set value that falls from the center point to median. The second phase is the determine of the goodness of data, where improved method will ensure more reliable finding, which is then will increase the scientific efficiency of the research. Then the third phase is a descriptive analysis, which is used to define the specific characteristic, which is our gender, different level of education, qualification, and type of problem in the analysis. To compute objective explanation is the correct way, descriptive figure will be used. We can estimate a sizable number of percent using the measurement in the research report. That's all from me. I will pass to my next team members. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is NAZIHAH binti Manu. I will continue on chapter 4. For introduction, chapter 4 is analysis and results. The analysis performed to address the research objective is covered in this chapter. There are 3 goals for the research project. There are others analysis technique were also used. The conduct analytical step was covered in the ensuing subtopic. The determinations of the goodness of fit for the measure, and the data was the first stage of analysis normality test and reliability test. In the second phase of the analysis, respondent profile were described, descriptive analysis, and the third phase, the research objective were addressed, ODL issue were identified, level of descriptive analysis usage were evaluated, and gender difference were noted. So, first phase of the data analysis. Determinations of goodness fit of the data and measure. The analysis of the multi-test is used to determine the goodness of fit of data. So, table 4.1 display the result of the normality test for each dimension of the variable for the problem in ODL. The 2 numerical measure of shape, squareness, and kurtosis are used in the study to test normality. So, 2 conditions must be met in order for the data to be considered normal. First, the measure of central tendency, mean and medians should have nearly identical values. Second, the squareness and kurtosis should be 0 or close to the distribution is perfectly normal, and however, if these 2 measures are put within the range of 3, the data can still be considered normal. So for section A, demography. Demographic profile of the respondent were taken among UiTM PUNCAK. This section consists of a few questions. They are related to the respondent backgrounds, age, education level, device connectivities, and more. So for table 4.1 shows the findings about the gender of respondent consists of male and female based on the data collected. It is shown that majority of 60.4% equals to 61 respondent of student UiTM PUNCAK campus were female, while the rest of them were male, which consists of 39.6% equal to 40. So table 4.2 show the finding about age of respondent consisting of 18 to 20 years old and 21 years old above. Based on the data collected, it show 18 years old until 20 years old. Table 4.2 show the finding about the age of respondent were to majority 25.7%, which is 26 of respondent age between 18 and 20 years old, followed by 74.3% respondent age 21 years old for 75 respondents. Table 4.3 display the finding for respondent semester, which is include 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 according to the data collected. The majority of respondent student of UiTM PUNCAK campus for 40.6%, which is 41 respondent have been semester 7, and the majority was 6 people. So for table 4.4, show the findings about the faculty of respondent, which is consists of business and management, art, design, health science, architecture, hotel and tourism, planning and quantity survey, and information management. Based on the data collected, it is shown that the majority 49%, which is 48 respondent of student UiTM Puncak Alam campus, were students from faculty business and management. 13.3%, which is 13, were students from faculty architecture, while respondent of student UiTM Puncak Alam campus from these three faculties, which is hotel tourism, planning, quantity survey, and health science. Our results show that each of these faculty has the same percent of the respondent, which is 9.2%. 9 people for each faculty mentioned, while the data collected show that respondent from faculty art design were 7.1, which is 7, and the rest was the information management, which is consists 3.1, 3%. 3 respondent. And then next, table 4.5 show the finding about the location during ODL engagement of respondent consisting of home, city, home, rural, and university hotel. Based on the data collected, it is shown that home city is the highest, which is 64 at 63.4%. So table 4.6 show the findings about internet connection quality of respondent consists of poor, average, and good grades. Based on the data collection, most internet connection quality was good, and 50.5%, which is 51 responded, followed by 43.6, which is average, and lowly more and until the 6th respondent. So table 7 is number of online courses of the current semester of respondent consisting of 6 and 6 above. So course for the current semester, the highest is 6 equal to 51, and the lowest is 6 equal to 29. 7 show the finding about the number of online courses for the current semester of respondent consisting of 6 below and 6 above. Based on the data, it shows that the number of online courses for the current semester, the highest is 6, which is 51 at 50.5%, and the lowest is 6, which is 50% of respondents. Table 4.8 show the finding about the number of device used in ODL 1, 2, 3, and 4 device. Based on the data collected, it is shown that the number of device 2 until 3 is the highest, which is 50, and followed by 1 at 30.7, and lastly is 90.8%. Table 4.9 show the most popular LMS used in ODL were Google Form, quizzes, and UFeature. Based on the data collected, it shows that UFeature is the highest at 54, and followed by Google Classroom is 34 at 30.7%, and quizzes is 13th. So for the table 4.10 show the most popular chat application used in ODL were WhatsApp, Telegram, and email. Based on the data collected, it showed that WhatsApp is the highest, which is 64 respondents, followed by Telegram, which is 31, and then lastly email, which is 6 respondent only. So for table 4.11 show the most popularly meeting technology used in ODL were Cisco Webex, Google Meet, and Microsoft Teams. Based on the data collected, it showed that Google Meet is the highest, which is 77% and 77 respondent, followed by Microsoft, which is 30 respondent, and then lastly 11. So table 4.12 show the mode of learning preference for the future are blended learning, face-to-face learning, and ODL. Based on the data collected, it showed that ODL is the highest, which is 57 at 56.4%, followed by face-to-face learning, and lastly blended learning. Okay, next I will continue with Ika Suraya. Thank you so much. From NAZIHAH. The were taken among UiTM Puncak Alam. This section consists of a few questions. They are related to the respondent backgrounds, age, educations, level, device connectivities, and more. So for table 4.1 shows the findings about the gender of respondent consists of male and female. Based on the data collected, it is shown that majority of 60.4% equals to 61 respondent of student UiTM Puncak Alam campus were female, while the rest of them were male, which consists of 39.6% equal to 40. So table 4.2 show the finding about age of respondent consisting of 18 to 20 years old and 21 years old above. Based on the data collected, it show 18 years old until 20 years old. Table 4.2 show the finding about the age of respondent were to majority 25.7%, which is 26 of respondent age between 18 and 20 years old, followed by 74.3% respondent age 21 years old for 75 respondents. So table 4.3 display the finding for respondent semester, which is include 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 according to the data collected. The majority of respondent student of UiTM Puncak Alam campus for 40.6%, which is 41 respondent have been semester 7, and the majority was 6 people. So for table 4.4, show the findings about the faculty of respondent, which consists of business and management, art, design, health science, architecture, hotel and tourism, planning and quantity survey, and information management. Based on the data collected, it is shown that the majority 49%, which is 48 respondent of student UiTM Puncak Alam campus, were student from faculty business and management. 13.3%, which is 13, were student from faculty architecture, while respondent of student UiTM Puncak Alam campus from these three faculties, which is hotel tourism, planning, quantity survey, and health science. Our results show that each of these faculty has the same percent of the respondent, which is 9.2%. 9 people for each faculty mentioned, while the data collected showed that respondent from faculty art design were 7.1, which is 7, and the rest was the information management, which is consists 3.1, 3 respondent. And then next, table 4.5 show the finding about the location during ODL engagement of respondent consisting of home, city, home, rural, and university hotel based on the data collected. It is shown that home city is the highest, which is 64 at 63.4%. So table 4.6 show the findings about internet connection quality of respondent consists of poor, average, and good grades. Based on the data collection, most internet connection quality was good, and 50.5%, which is 51 responded, followed by 43.6, which is average, and lowly more and until the 6th respondent. So table 7 is number of online courses of the current semester of respondent consisting of 6 and 6 above. So course for the current semester, the highest is 6 equal to 51, and the lowest is 6 equal to 29. 7 show the finding about the number of online courses for the current semester of respondent consisting of 6 below and 6 above. Based on the data, it shows that the number of online courses for the current semester, the highest is 6, which is 51 at 50.5%, and the lowest is 6, which is 50% of respondents. Table 4.8 show the finding about the number of device used in ODL 1, 2, 3, and 4 device. Based on the data collected, it show that the number of device 2 until 3 is the highest, which is 50, and followed by 1 at 30.7, and lastly is 90.8%. Table 4.9 show the most popular LMS used in ODL were Google Form, quizzes, and UFeature. Based on the data collected, it show that UFeature is the highest at 54, and followed by Google Classroom is 34 at 30.7%, and quizzes is 13. So for the table 4.10 show the most popular chat application used in ODL were WhatsApp, Telegram, and email. Based on the data collected, it showed that WhatsApp is the highest, which is 64 respondents, followed by Telegram, which is 31, and then lastly email, which is 6 respondent only. So for table 4.11 show the most popularly meeting technology used in ODL were Cisco Webex, Google Meet, and Microsoft Teams. Based on the data collected, it showed that Google Meet is the highest, which is 77% and 77 respondent, followed by Microsoft, which is 30 respondent, and then lastly 11. So table 4.12 show the mode of learning preference for the future are blended learning, face-to-face learning, and ODL. Based on the data collected, it showed that ODL is the highest, which is 57 at 56.4%, followed by face-to-face learning, and lastly blended learning. Okay, next I will continue with Ika Suraya. Thank you so much from NAZIHAH.
Thank you, Ziha, for the explanation. Now back with me, Ika Suraya binti Muhammad Nasir, for the Chapter 4 Analysis and Result for Section B and C. Each variable's data distribution has been assessed using a normality test. The skewness and kurtosis values were utilized to determine the normality of the data distribution. If you look at the table, it shows the results of skewness and kurtosis level of attitude, facilities, and perceived behavior of online distance learning students. If the skewness and values are in the range of 3, the data is deemed normal. The results of the normality test for each variable are shown in the table above, and the skewness and kurtosis values for each item range between 3, and the skewness has a minimum value of -0.69 and a maximum value of 1.22. Kurtosis has a minimum value of -0.04 and a maximum value is 2.06, and the data appears is to be normal. Each item of data must be computed as a set of descriptive statistics in order to define the broad characteristic of a collection of distribution of the scores. A descriptive statistic may include the mean and the standard deviation of each dimension from variables. The standard deviation, which is the most potent measure of dispersion, was used to quantify the variability of the square root of the variance, whereas the mean was used to assess if the arithmetic average of the score is normal. Okay, according to the statistic, the most important element for student issues is facilities, with the mean is 4.48 and the standard deviation is 0.822, followed by perceived behavior, with the mean is 4.28 and the standard deviation is 818. The pressures, the mean is 3.48 and the standard deviation is 1266. And attitude, with the mean of 3.08 and the standard deviation is 1.457. In general, this pressure is a result of the risk environment that they are experiencing during the pandemic, such as lockdown and movement control order (MCO), as that was suggested at the time. According to the table, it shows the problem of student facilities, perceived behavior, and pressures. The highest mean score is facilities, with a mean of 4.48 and a standard deviation of 0.822. Second, perceived conduct with a mean of 4.28 and a standard deviation of 818 is followed by pressure with a mean of 3.48 and a standard deviation of 1.266. It demonstrates that facilities are the major student issue in the quality of online distance learning, which determines students' behavior. The pressure statistic revealed that the mean is 3.48 and the standard deviation is 1.266, which is medium. It demonstrates that a lack of facilities might cause difficulty in ODL, putting a strain on students' mental health. The table displays the results of the reliability analysis. The reliability tests that have been performed include both independent and dependent variables. And according to the research, attitudes, facilities, perceived conduct, and pressures are all present. The independent variable with the highest Chromebook alpha is attitude, which is 0.874, followed by facilities, which is 0.803, and perceived behavior, which is 0.723, whereas the dependent variable has just pressure, which is 0.837, and as a result, Chromebook alpha values are frequently positive, with coefficient yielding over 0.7 regarded acceptable and above 0.8 considered extremely good, and putting pressure on student mental health.
Hi, my name is HAKIM ABDUL. My part in this presentation is a structural model. In structural model, we are going to look at relationship, path correlation, standard error, LL, UL, t-value, and decision. In this structural model, we are going to look at hypothesis 1, hypothesis 2, and hypothesis 3. And the introduction for the A is attitude, F for facilities, PP for pervasive behavior, and ST for pressure. First of all, we are going to look at the path coefficient. Path coefficient is the equal to the correlation when the dependent variable is a function for a single independent variable. For standard error means is a statistical term that measures the accuracy with a sample distributed represent a population by using a standard deviation. And for t-value, it's meant to measure the size of the difference relative to the variation of the sample data. When we look at the table, for the hypothesis 1 is for attitude and pressure. The path coefficient value is 0.579 and the standard error is 1.457 and LL is for 0.485 and UL is 0.703 and the t-value is 0.874. So we can conclude the decision is supported. For hypothesis 2, for facilities and pressure, the path correlation value is 0.441. For standard error is 0.822, LL is 0.488 and UL at 0.766. The t-value is 0.803 and the decision is supported. For hypothesis 3, for perceived behavior and pressure, path coefficient value is 0.443, standard error is 0.1818, LL is 0.173 and UL is 0.514 and the t-value is 0.723 and the decision is supported. For the conclusion, in hypothesis 1, which is there is a significant relationship between attitude and student pressure during online learning, in decision is supported. And for hypothesis 2, which is there are a significant relationship between facilities and student during online learning, in decision is supported. And for hypothesis 3, which is there is a significant relationship between perceived behavior and student pressure during online learning, in decision is also supported. So basically, all the three hypotheses in decision is supported.
Next is the conclusion, where what we can be seen from the result of the research, UiTM students show moderate pressure toward the implementation of ODL. Factors that contribute to this problem include poor internet connection, academic workload, high academic workload, assignment deadline, internet connection, learning environment, and family problem. Although ODL has been successfully implemented over the past 3 years, some improvement measures are still needed. In the future, the study need to be considered and get opinion and views from the students' point of view to meet the expectation of students and lecturer regarding the implementation of ODL. Understanding the success factor of today, ODL program will enable change to blend learning to take the necessary step to ensure the ODL success of the ODL program. Next is discuss the discussion carried out through this research, which is the relationship between stress and problem faced openly and distance learning ODL among students at UiTM PUNCAK. Among them is the role of the student himself and the condition of distance learning and also the acceptance of visual learning by students to solve this problem. We use the accessibility method to collect data from UiTM PUNCAK students of various programs with the help of Ghazali. The relationship between variables and stress in ODL learning, the role of the student himself and the stress of ODL learning was measured with a multi-item scale. The result of the analysis confirmed the established hypothesis and understand the relationship between variables related to stress and learning problem in different ODL. Among the objective is to identify the quality of online distance learning that affects student behavior, and to examine the relationship between ODL problem issue and students' mental health level during ODL. And these are the recommendations following this research, among other emphasizing the need for additional research to identify potential solution to the challenge faced by students. Among the proposed solutions for UiTM to solve the problem faced by students are assignment at different times, mental health counseling program with students, and modernizing the feature U interface. Suggestions for future research include research that can be used in other areas of UiTM campus Puncak Alam, for example, such as the Faculty of Music, Faculty of Management, and so on. Research can also be done at other universities such as University Malaya, UM, and University Kebangsaan Malaysia, UKM. That's all for our presentation. Thank you very much.